Welcome to the Produce Moms Podcast, where we believe there is a produce mom in all of us. I'm Lori Taylor, founder and CEO of the Produce Moms. For 10 years, I sold fresh produce to over 300 grocery stores in the U.S. And today, my team and I are fully focused on inspiring people to eat more fruits and vegetables. This show is just one of the ways that we hope to inspire you and your family to eat more produce and live a better life. If you like what you're hearing on the podcast, join our community of almost 40,000 in all 50 states and over 30 countries by visiting theproducemoms.com/subscribe. And be sure to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes. Thanks for being here. Enjoy today's show. Welcome back, everyone. Today on the Produce Moms Podcast, it's going to be a great day. We're welcoming a mother-daughter duo. They are the family behind the family-owned brand, Organics Unlimited. Organics Unlimited is committed to providing premium quality organic bananas through a culture of sustainability, caring for our communities, and providing excellent customer service. Join me in welcoming Mayra and Daniella to today's show.
Hello, Lori. Good morning,
Hi.
everybody.
Hi. All right. So Mayra, you are the founder of Organics Unlimited.
Correct. Yes.
Yes. And Daniella, you are Mayra's daughter.
Yep, that's right. Mother-daughter duo.
That's right. And so before the show, we enjoyed a little pre-show chatter and getting to know one another. And I think everyone will find this a little charming. I was asking Daniella, your mom's the founder. Do you have a specific title? And she goes, I can't really answer that because, hey, it's a family-owned business and I wear a lot of hats. And I loved that, Daniella. And I can relate to it as someone who's running a family-owned business and who has worked at other family-owned businesses. So kudos to you for doing whatever it takes to get the job done.
Yep, gotta do what it takes, but it's a good one.
So Daniella, tell us a little bit more about what it means to grow up in a farming family. You mentioned you're fourth generation in agriculture, so explain a little bit more about that.
Sure. So my grandfather was the first to market organic bananas in the States, way back before we even had the organic certification process. So I've grown up in this. It's something that's really ingrained in my life. At first, I was hesitant to enter into the family business. I kind of wanted to pave my own path. But a few years back, my mom started inviting me to trade shows with her. And at this point, I had already been working in digital marketing for almost 7 years. And it just really hit home how passionate people are about organic produce in the organic industry. And just growing up with that and living that in my family, at that point, it just kind of clicked for me that it was time for me to join the team.
That's amazing. And joining that team, your mom was, you're talking about the team that your mom was the founder of. So Mayra, please educate our listeners a little bit more on what is Organics Unlimited and what compelled you to start the brand and your family business.
Yeah, I'm going to have to start by telling you our story. And our story started with my dad in 1974. He was one of the pioneers in the organic business or the organic movement. And so he started actually marketing organic bananas, the first one to market organic bananas in the U.S. His company back then was Mexican American Fruit Company, better known as Mexam. And I used to come during the summers from Mexico and work for him during the summers. So I grew up with, in the banana business, both in the growing and the distribution side of it. But in 1999, my parents decided to retire. And my ex-husband and I kept thinking, what is it that we should do? And my dad kept pushing me, saying, no, you have to do what you know how to do. And this is bananas. And it took us a while. It took us about 8 months. And then, we decided to start Organics Unlimited. So we started in 2000, actually April of 2000. It's going to be our 20th anniversary pretty soon.
Yeah,
so
congratulations.
This is how we started Organics. Thank you. I'm very excited about it. So we started Organics Unlimited in 2000. It was hard at the beginning, but we had a lot of support from previous customers of my parents. We knew the business, and we're vertically integrated. That means we're growers, distributors, and so we know both sides of the business. Mm-hmm. We know what it takes to grow bananas, what's involved in it, all the people that are involved in the growing of it. And we are also on the marketing side of it and the distribution side of it. When we see our bananas on the shelves, it's like, wow, this is where we're getting our bananas to. And sometimes people are not aware of that. But we have groups of people that volunteer with the Grow program. And when they see what's behind growing a banana, they come back. So, they come back to the market, telling everybody about it and telling everybody how much it costs to grow a banana. It's not just peeling the banana and eating it. There's so much behind it. So that's how we started Organics Unlimited in 2000. Right now, we are distributing our bananas throughout the west coast of the United States, Canada, and Japan.
Okay, great. So let's talk a little bit about where you grow. But really, before we get into that, I would love for you to explain more. One thing that really stuck out to me as you're explaining your family's heritage. And my goodness, your father, Mayra, Daniella's grandfather, what a visionary, to be promoting organically grown products really before the USDA certified organic seal even existed, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Amazing. Yes. So we have to talk about that a little bit. Do you know why it was such a passion point for your father and your grandfather? And then also let's clear up for all of our listeners, what does it mean to be USDA certified organic?
Okay. Well, going back to my dad's passion of selling organic, I guess back in the day, it wasn't really called organic. It was just grown wild.
Okay.
We're not a multinational. That was not, or it's still not our business of making huge profits out of growing bananas. It's, it was more of, we're giving you something that nature is giving back to us, and it's totally natural, and we wanted to make sure that we could produce more with an organic system. So I remember when my parents first got USDA certified, it was like a big deal, and people were starting that movement, and it took them a while, but it's all it all makes sense nowadays. And I'm glad we started back in the day because we know exactly how to follow all the rules that started back then. And now, nowadays it's like, it's not only organically certified, we've got all kind of certifications.
Right. Yeah. And so to say that, Daniella, to say that your grandfather's the pioneer of this is, it's probably a pretty spot on description of your grandfather. I mean, what a pioneer for the organic category as a whole to be ushering in, America's favorite fruit, the banana, organically grown. Pretty amazing, huh?
Yeah, it's definitely a big source of pride for me.
I bet. Yeah. That's why you wear all those hats.
Yes, exactly. I'm bringing in the new generation, bringing some fresh ideas.
Right. So how do you describe what it means to be organic to your colleagues, Daniella, to your friends that aren't employed in agriculture?
So I think organic is a movement that's kept growing naturally since day one, but it's gotten a lot of attention, especially in the last couple of years where there's been such a focus on eating healthy. And especially for my generation, I'm a millennial. So, so all of us millennials, we're a lot more conscious of what it means to where our food is coming from and what we're putting in our bodies. So when I'm talking to my friends about buying organic, it's something that's not going to have any additional chemicals or pesticides, something that's grown naturally. And not only that, but something that's also giving back to the environment. It's not going to destroy the environment in the way that a lot of conventional pesticides do. So we're also protecting our soil. We're protecting the workers because they're not exposed to those chemicals. And then it all just kind of sprinkles up into who's growing that produce. Is it a massive corporation or is it small growers? So these are all kind of points that go into, why people are buying organic and why people are buying sustainably sourced produce.
Great. And then there is an actual, the USDA certified organic seal is a defined style of farming with, there are defined characteristics and metrics that the USDA requires of the growers in order to carry that seal. Mayra, would you like to explain to our listeners what that seal represents?
Well, USDA has so many certifiers under them. And the reason for that is because there's produce that comes from all over the world. So USDA needs to have certifiers that go down to the farms on an annual basis, take samples of soil, leaves, fruit, etc., and make sure that the consumer gets a USDA certified product with the USDA seal on it. And I think it's a process that benefits the consumers. It's understanding the label, which empowers the consumer to make an informed decision on what they're buying. And when we talk about the USDA seal, and we need to know what's behind it. It's we're talking about organic. We contribute to the soil health. We increase biodiversity because of this. We improve water quality. And you did mention something before about carbon footprint. These bananas are on our backyard. So it does. They're here in our shelves within 4 days from harvest, which makes a big difference. We're the lowest carbon footprint banana you can find.
And so
when it comes to organic bananas.
And that's because of your growing region.
Correct.
And I don't, I think we had that. Yeah, we had that conversation pre-show. So let's talk right now about your growing region, Mayra. Explain to our listeners where most of your bananas are grown.
I'd say 95% of bananas come from Mexico. The other 5% comes from Ecuador. And the reason why we diversify a little bit is just to make sure that our customers have bananas year-round. Bananas are grown year-round, but we have seasons, and the first quarter of the year, it's low production in Mexico. Ecuador has bananas year-round too, but the yield on their production is a lot higher. So we try to diversify a little bit, but most of our bananas come from Mexico.
Great. And let's talk a little bit too, Daniella. I'd like to start with your thoughts on this. If anyone is to visit the Organics Unlimited website, it's organicsunlimited.com. One of the first things you're going to see is a call out for one of Organic Unlimited's programs called Grow. Daniella, please tell us a little bit more about this.
Sure. So this is definitely what I'm the most proud of. When my parents started the business and they saw the people in the growing communities, these tend to be pretty poor communities, and they were trying to find a way that they could give back to the communities that we impact, mainly the growing communities, but also, our local communities where we're distributing. So the Grow program was born in 2005, and again, it's a way to give back to the communities that we're impacting. The goal is to provide better lives for the workers and to help break the cycle of poverty. It's our own fair trade program. It's very straightforward. 60 cents of every box that's purchased is donated directly to the fund, and it's managed independently, which means that it's 100% transparent. If anybody wants to know where the money is going, they can they can ask the administrative body, and they'll be able to see where everything is going. And to date, we've donated over $2.7 million.
Wow.
And the the main portion of the funds go to support scholarships from middle school through college. And this includes school fees, student housing, student transportation, homework clubs. And again, this is the big focus on breaking that cycle of poverty, because in those regions, most of the time children are encouraged to go to work when they're young. Girls are encouraged to stay home and help their families rather than continue on with their education. And through this program, they're able to go to college, graduate, and then come back and give back to their communities. So there's a number of programs, but that's the primary one that we fund.
Yeah, I love that. And I like that you said it's like a fair trade program. Is this part of the fair trade organization, or is it an independent program that has been modeled after the fair trade program?
So it's an independent program. So there tends to be some confusion in market. The word fair trade has become very associated with the fair trade certification.
Yes.
But for something to be fair trade means that there's ethical business practices. It's giving back to the community. We were at one point fair trade, capital F, fair trade certified. But, we had been part of this program that we had developed ourselves, and we liked that it was fully transparent and that it didn't price the growers out of market, because we work with a lot of small growers. And so we need to be able to,
hey, it's a business. Yeah. I know a lot of people don't like to think of something as wholesome as food, and as purpose-driven as, the work and the ethos of your company. It's very purpose-driven. At the end of the day, the ability to be purpose-driven is, it lies in the profits of your company. And so that's, farming is a business just like everything else. And so I'm glad.
And not only that, but it's about, of course, it's profit driven, but at the end of the day, you want to make sure that the growers, the actual farmers, are getting a fair price for their fruit. Bananas are a product that in supermarkets are often sold at a loss, which, if you think about, again, what Mayra mentioned, everything that goes into buying a banana, especially an organic banana, which has to go through the USDA certification process, which is, it's an expensive process. And especially when you consider that there's a lot of small growers that are going through the effort to not use pesticides and to grow organically. You need to make sure that consumers know what the true cost is, so that at the end of the day, these growers, these farmers can get, a fair price for their product.
Yeah. Mayra, did you have something you wanted to share?
No, actually I do. I just want to let you know that it's interesting how at one point I was representing both fair trade, the fair trade label, and the grow label. They started the movement on the West Coast, kind of at the same time, and I just want to say that grow is a fairly traded label. We are growers and distributors, and when it comes to fair trade, they're a label. So we thought we wanted to just jump into something that we know that we're growing and we're distributing, and kind of do the same thing. And we were already doing it. We were treating our growers with the best wages available in the area. We're doing dental clinics, vision clinics, several things to help the community, and we were already fairly traded. So that's why we started with the Grow program along with the fair trade back then. And I think it's something that we're very proud of.
Yeah, you should be. Work that, enriches the human spirit and elevates our farmers is work we can all rally behind. So thank you for all that you do. Just a couple questions before we, get to the end of our discussion today. Daniella, as a millennial and, second generation at Organics Unlimited, and someone who's already gone on record saying that the GROW program is something, that you are utmost passionate about. We seem to have a common thread with a lot of our episodes, especially when we get anyone that's involved with farming on the show as a guest. And that theme is sustainability. It is almost like the common thread that unites us all in the world of agriculture. So tell us a little bit more about sustainability practices within Organics Unlimited and how that's making an impact on the world we all live in.
Sure. So, it's the full circle, right, of giving back to the earth and to the community, to the people. So if you think about those different prongs, we're giving back to the environment through our organic practices, right? We're not putting any harmful chemicals or pesticides into the soil. We also have the lowest carbon footprint, which we already spoke about. So whereas a lot of bananas from the main banana growing regions take 2 to 3 weeks to arrive to our shores, our bananas are only on the road for 2 to 4 days. So, that's less pollution, fresher fruit. And then if you look at the other prong, there's giving back to the communities, which again, it's through the GROW program, partnering through small growers, where we purchase their entire production so that they don't have to worry about, the sales into the export side. They can focus on production. We provide support through organic best practices and assistance through the organic certification process, and through all of the programs that the GROW Fund is supporting. So that's kind of taking us through the whole circle and ensuring that each of the practices that we're undertaking is part of the sustainability efforts.
Yeah, I love that. Mayra, tell us a little bit more about where folks can find your products.
We're selling to distributors, but they in turn sell to retailers. And we're working on a tool for our webpage where you'll be able, like a store locator in our website, but it's not up there yet. There's a few I'd like to mention. New Seasons in the Bay Area, Jimbo's and Ocean Beach People here locally in San Diego, Steely's in San Diego, and there's a lot more up north. New Seasons and so many more. But we're working on that tool, and it should be up and running in the next few months after all this craziness goes away.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. And yes, let's hope that everyone stays healthy and safe amidst the COVID-19 virus and sheltering in place as the government has requested us to do. Of course, agriculture is one of the critical industries that is still hard at work. So thank you to everyone at Organics Unlimited for your dedication to our food supply chain and security and for coming to work. Really, really admirable what's happening in agriculture right now.
Yeah, I've got to say, I just need to chime in on this because I have been so impressed by the work that everyone's putting into what they do. Our warehouse workers, it's just out of this world, and making sure that the supply chain is not interrupted, which it's not, and, helping people feel at ease when they're going to the supermarket and letting them know that the food's still there. You don't need to worry about it. And everybody's working to make sure that it's there.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Produce Moms Podcast. If you or someone you know would like to be a featured guest, just send an email to Lori@theproducemoms.com. We know there is a produce mom in you because there's a produce mom in all of us. Join our community on Facebook and all social platforms. Help us change the way America eats. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.